All right, family, Spencer-Mack here. Beautiful day to you guys. And so the question and topic of discussion today becomes, what do you eat? You would think something so foundational would be a simple and straightforward answer, but it's seemingly one of the most difficult tasks in our reality. It's almost as scary as getting into a religious or political conversation these days, the intensity of emotion behind it. I want to preface this video by stating, find what works for you is most important. I've seen people healthy on a wide variety of diets. Try different things, all right? Feel what works best for you. That's number one. Two, understand I go through many experiments. 6 to 8 months ago, I was heavy animal product ketogenic high fat diet for 6 months itself. And now I've been vegan, eating tofu for about 5 months now. So I go through changes. What I'm doing is expressing and sharing my own personal experiment. Okay, I'm not suggesting anybody do what I do. I am acting on the composite of information that I've received from multiple different teachers, years of personal experimentation and study, and sharing it. Because there's the question. Okay, so before I show you guys around, step one, get a garden. If you can't get a garden, grow some sprouts. Just get used to producing food. Be responsible for producing life that you consume. See if there is a local neighborhood garden. See if when you do buy food, you can buy it locally. Eat as simple as possible and as local as possible. Okay, so that being said, the very basis of my diet, after I've consumed the nutrient-dense cocktail at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is, where do you get your calories? Is it going to be fat or carbohydrates? That's a big question this day and age as well. So I oscillate a bit right now. I tend to be on the higher side of fats. I'm consuming about 40 to 50% of my calories in fats and 30 to 40% of my calories in carbohydrates. Okay? My main sources of fats are avocados, olives, and coconut. Not in that order. Coconut, avocados, and olives. I'm such a fan of coconut, been loving it for years. I don't do sugars these days, so I often ferment the water or give it to friends. Avocados, so it's based seasonally as well around here. I do buy olives. I try to purchase as few things as possible and keep it as simple as possible. I find the more palatable the foods, when you start buying these pre-spiced store packaged foods, they're so palatable you end up consuming more than you actually need. So learning to eat simply, finding the right spices is key. So that's the fat side, avos, coconut, olives, sticking more towards the monounsaturated fats and the saturated fats. Staying away from the monounsaturated fats and saturated fats. Staying away from the polyunsaturated fats, which have a tendency to go rancid, right? Which are more higher in the seeds, pumpkin seeds, nuts and seeds. So when you eat things like that, find a fresh organic source when you can, and try and keep the omega-6s down is my recommendation. That's my approach. When it comes to carbohydrates, my favorite is purple sweet potato. Love it. Okinawa sweet potato. It's also one of the highest sources of resistant starch, which is an amazing prebiotic, which is a whole video in itself. And another, if you prepare the potato and cool it, put it in the fridge and eat it later, it actually becomes more beneficial to your microbiome because of something called retrograde starch. That's a whole nother video I'll share later. So potatoes, green papaya. Got some papaya around here. Yeah, this guy back here. Green papaya is delicious. Other tubers like cassava and taro, love them. Tubers really is where I mainly get my starches. And then lots of greens, like check these guys out. This is one of my favorite greens. It's katuk. It's West Africa, I believe is where it's from. Tastes like peanuts. Grows really easily. You can just chop this thing off at the base here at the woody stem, have one for dinner, have multiple for dinner, stab them in the ground the next day, and as long as there's enough water, they'll grow. So I've been spreading them like wildfire because we love them so much. I do them in sautés with some coconut, blend it up, make a good curry seasoning. Okay, so the starches were potatoes, cassava, taro. Sometimes I do rice, but that tends to just make me more hungry. That's about it. I stay away from fruit and sugar. I'm not into the sugars. They make me hungry. And they're addicting to me. They'll cause me to overeat, which can put me in a spot when I'm trying to do a real clean experiment like I am right now. Yeah, so we got lots of greens around here. I always try to put an element of the living foods, because I do cook a lot. I saute things. I love the wok in oils and spices. Lightly flash saute is my favorite way to prepare food most of the time. And my body, depending on what I'm craving, sometimes I'll go back to salads, like I want something juicy and cooling. So the diet fluctuates based on the season, based on how I feel, based on what I want. So understand that there's an art of feeling your body and knowing what it's craving and then learning to prepare it. Whenever I started this diet, I wasn't that good of a chef. I had a lot of intelligence or knowledge about food and what I wanted to eat, but how to make it taste really good was difficult. But after a year or so of me being responsible for satiating myself, because once you're only eating once a day, you stop leaving it up to other people because you want food that has love and life in it. You know, you go eat at a restaurant, it's empty. The people who prepared it might not love it. There's only a few places you can go and really get, you know, close, local, nutrient-rich food prepared by good people, and you'll start to notice the difference when you get real hungry. Okay, so be patient and keep trying new things, and eventually you'll start mastering the chefery and produce really good meals. Yeah, so finding out what you're craving and getting it. This is yacon right here. This is another tuber I like. Yacon, also known as earth apple. Pull it up, it looks like a potato. It's really high in inulin. It's a prebiotic, feeds the probiotics. Fantastic food. As I said, the green papaya. Love the green papaya. Has a lot of papain, the enzyme in it that helps digest proteins, cleanse the digestive tract. Love making ferments and medicine with that as well. Good for the skin, good for the internal organs. Can use the seeds to fight parasites and also cleanse the gut out. The leaves are high in the enzyme as well. Magical plant. Just some turmeric. Turmeric, the spice, super potent anti-inflammatory. Remember to mix it with some fat and some black pepper or pepper to activate the curcuminoids to make it more bioavailable. Love turmeric. Let me see if I can show you the flower. It has this fractal-like unfolding flower. So beautiful. Turmeric. And green bananas are a go sometimes. I haven't really gotten into those, but green bananas are also high in the resistant starch. Haven't played with those that much, but you can saute them as well, and they're delicious. This is growing some purple sweet potato here. Got some moringa. Where's the moringa? Just that one. Super delicious, nutrient-dense food. You know what's funny? If you really have your tonic on lock, the nutrition of the meal is not as important. I know that might push some edges for people, but if you really have that concoction that has all the nutrition, you're not so worried about the anti-nutrients. You're not so worried about getting all of your nutritional needs in because you have them. In a really receptive state, you're ingesting these things. So the meal becomes satiation, right? It's the skill of satiating yourself and not producing negative byproducts by the way you prepare foods or eating foods that have unnecessary or avoidable toxins in them. Oh, so 3, the big question is, of course, where do you get your protein? Soy. Soy? And tempeh. I love tempeh. Spirulina, of course, you've seen the video, or the tonic video. If you haven't, check it out. But tempeh is my favorite. Saute that with some good spices. I love it. Properly prepared with the right bacteria, it's a good source of K2. There's another fermented form of soy they make in Indonesia that actually is really high in B12, which I'm working on trying to get my hands on. So I dig soy. That's my #1 source, mainly tempeh or natto, fermented forms of soy. Yeah, also things like basil. This is aloe vera. I did a video on that as well. I consume that during the day sometimes. One of my fasting foods I'll share on at some point. This is noni. Can you see the noni? Oh man. Magical fruit. Eat that during the day sometimes as well. Stimulates nitric oxide production. So where are we going? Soy, and believe it or not, I also consume gluten. Not in ridiculously high amounts, but I've been doing it more and more recently. Seitan is what they call it, appropriately named for how people feel about it. Doing a lot of research on both these protein sources, and nothing to scare me away that I've seen so far. Potentially, the gluten can increase gut permeability and lead to leaky gut syndrome and other issues that come with that. I'm not having an issue with it. I've actually recently gotten into baking bread and using wheat and gluten and formulating my own high fiber bread, so I dig that as well. Yeah, so tempeh, seitan, and the carbs are tubers, preferably purple sweet potato, and the fats are coconut and avocado. Those are my basis that I roll on, and then I try and throw some living in there, something off the land as much as I can, grow as much as I can, get it as local as I can, support the people around me, and make it simple and delicious. That's my approach to food, guys. If that brings up questions, inspiration, please share them. Woo, it's hot out here. I'm about to go jump in a river. Lots of love and peace.